In this video, things really take a turn for the better halfway through. I had the pleasure of meeting Alex Carver, an incredible local photographer who introduced me to an amazing hidden gem. If you think that the first spot I'm about to go to is impressive, make sure you stick around for the second half of the video. It's not to be missed. Timestamp below. And also for anybody who's a member of a local camera club, I make an announcement about future talks at the end of the video. Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. I'm at a place I've been to before, and it's a place I promised to come back to when the conditions are right. And the conditions just so happen to be perfect today. The very reason why I wanted to come back today is I wanted a better pictures that I captured from this area before. But that can only be achieved by, well, in my opinion, by better lighting conditions. And that's exactly what I've got now. Although it might be a little bit too much if I'm honest. This place is just incredible. Take a look where I am and I'll explain a little more about what I want to try and achieve today. But take a look at this place. This has to be, I would say, the prettiest stretch of woodland anywhere in the UK. But I might be a little bit biased, of course, because it's fairly close to where I live. Well, I say fairly close, it's an hour and 25 minutes for me to drive here. Now, I've been here before. This is Derbyshire. This place is incredible. And I made a video here and I called it, "Is this the best woodland in the UK?" And I think I captured some quite nice pictures. In actual fact, before we start, a bit of a reminder, these are the pictures that I captured from that video. Right, so now you've seen those, I want to try and better those pictures, and in my opinion, the only way I probably could have bettered those pictures is if the lighting or as if the conditions were different. Well, today, my friends, those conditions are very, very different and very conducive to this genre of photography. It's just incredible, isn't it? Now, the date is Friday the 15th of November, and I'll be publishing this in 2 days time from now on Sunday like I normally do. So this is going to be quite different for me. Normally I have 1 or 2 videos banked up, but not this one. I've just always wanted to come back here when the conditions have been like this, and every time people post pictures it gets me excited again about coming back to here. Now, can I better the compositions? Not that I'm the best photographer in the world, no, of course not, but you are fairly limited here with what you can capture. But when it looks this good, what the hell, it doesn't really matter. Now the time is 8:15. It's just gone sunrise. Sunrise was at 7:30. But when I checked my app last night, it was about midnight when I checked my app, and I just thought, because every now and again I check it for Derbyshire just to see what the weather's going to be like, and lo and behold, it said fog, fog, and more fog. But even better than that, apparently, and don't hold me to this, but it was on a news report last night, apparently we're going to have a dump of snow Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Now, if we are going to get a dump of snow, what I intend to do is, I'll follow the weather reports closely, of course, is I'll come down here before the snow drops, and I'll basically camp out for a couple of days, wait for the snow to fall, and then when it's a fresh dump of snow, or just after a fresh dump of snow, I'm going to come here and hopefully capture this in all its glory, but under very different conditions, i.e. snowy. if that doesn't happen, doesn't matter, I'll still hopefully come away today with some nice foggy pictures. Foggy pictures that I never get when I go into the woodland. You've no idea how excited I am about this. Now, I've got to get set up because otherwise, lo and behold, knowing my luck, the sun will come up, all this will burn off while I'm still dithering around talking to you guys and messing about with my cameras. Right, so. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's switch this onto video mode just so we can take a look at what we're looking at. Oh, I haven't touched my camera and it already looks like that. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So before I do anything, I'm probably gonna look at a oh, let's go right down its throat. Oh, it's just wonderful, isn't it? Just wonderful. Look at that. Is it in focus? Yeah, I think it is. Right, before I dither around and mess things up, let's grab that there for a shot. Maybe up like that. I mean, it's incredible really, because we've still got these autumnal burnt brown leaves on the floor. I thought these would have been either long gone or certainly messy looking, but they're not. They're looking brilliant. Look at that. Look down there. Wow. So I'm going to have to encompass some of that as well. White balance to shade. I've mentioned this before several times. It's just because the picture looks more akin to what I could see with my eye in the woodlands. I know you could change your white balance in post-production. I know that. But it's just, it gives you much more confidence if what you see in camera is what you see with your eye. Because I've been here before, and therefore I want to make, well, try and create images that are different. What I'm doing now is applying my 70 to 200mm lens, and every time I see a composition, I'm gonna physically move further away but zoom in, and if you do that you compress the background. So again, I'm gonna give myself different options and make the image feel very different. And not only that, but 70 to 200mm is my favorite lens for woodland photography. Now this might seem a really strange thing to say, but I have to discipline myself now, because I'm just looking through the viewfinder and I am so giddy and so excited because of the conditions. They're so good. It's almost going to be difficult to get it wrong when you take pictures, to mess up. And because of that, it's too easy. Like now, I've just put my camera into portrait orientation and I'm looking at the branches going up into the mist with all these lovely yellow autumnal colours still around. And I'm just thinking, right, I want to snap away, it's brilliant. But I've got to stop myself, control myself and think, no, come on, Gary, it's more than that. You've got to think composition. But I've got to tell you, let me just put you in camera. It's a bit of a strange angle for you guys, but all I've done there is whiz my camera around into portrait orientation. I probably want to look up and shoot more of these trees and more of these branches and shoot something along the lines like that. But that's what I saw straight away and decided, right, that's got to be a picture. But no, I've got to stop. I've got to control things, because otherwise I'm just getting giddy, just like I'm sure most of you guys are like as well. You know, I love this thing called photography. I'm very passionate about this thing called photography. But it's too easy just to turn up and just start snapping away. Right, come on, Gary, think about this. Think. Must admit though, I do love that. That's so nice. 2/3 of these trees. Let's get a focus on that. I'm faced with probably the same problems I had last time I was here. On the left hand side, there's odd bits of sky that are breaking through. And they're going to end up as just really hot highlights in the image. I know I could tone them down, but I don't want that. It really, really upsets me. So, a quick way of curing that is just come across to the left hand side. So now I've narrowed down the space where that light can actually come in and grab me. Oh, this is just magical. It's pretty still. I know it's raining, but rain is also conducive to this style of photography. But the last of the autumnal leaves are just falling around like snow all around me. I must admit, it's difficult not just to snap at everything. And when I first came here, I was just getting set up and there was a man walking his 2 dogs down, which would have added a point of interest in the image and a little bit of scale in there as well. I mean, I don't know, I might run up there and throw myself in the picture just to see how that looks. Let's change this composition. Let's get down a lot lower and maybe show off a bit more of these leaves, or certainly from a lower perspective will change the way the image looks. Let's have a look at that. That's my composition. There's a bit of a brown patch up here that I'm not keen on. See that brown patch up here, if I can get my finger working there, that I'm not keen on. But I think that's fine. But what I do love is these 3 birch trees on the right hand side. The light is just starting to kick from the left hand side and just light them up. And I think that is really, really nice. How far left can I go? You see now as I start going further left, you can see. I love that. I have to remove that rock on the bottom right hand side, but I do love that. I'll shoot this in landscape and portrait orientation. Oh man, man, this is so cool. Right, let's grab me backpack and let's head up and shoot back before we lose this mist altogether. This is quite strange because there is a person in the background and it's another photographer. So he's either cheesed off with me standing in his shot, or he's doing exactly what I'm doing, and that is utilising the said person to add a bit of scale and another bit of interest. I shall walk up and A, get out of his shot, and B, say good morning. I wondered if it was another photographer.
No, better than last time you were here.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm here. To be honest, it's
So were you from Cardiff or Newport?
well, Cumbran and Newport.
I thought it was a little bit more Newport. I'm from Cardiff.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I've been here in all conditions, snow with fog. I've had like sunbeams coming through and everything.
Yeah, well I'm hoping that the light will break through. I always say that local knowledge is king, and I've just been speaking to Alex, and Alex said he's got a couple of fantastic locations that he keeps to himself, but he's happy to share with me for the video, as long as obviously I don't divulge any of his locations. So I said, look, let's just give me one location. So what I'm going to do now is finish up here and then meet up with Alex, and we're going to go for a drive. Apparently it's fairly close to here, but I'm not going to say any more than that. Is it going to be any good? I have no idea, but under these conditions it'll be difficult not to be good, I'm guessing. Right, okay, crack on, crack on. So I just met some lovely people, a whole bunch of them, and they've actually just booked me to do a camera club talk, which I'll mention at the end of this video. Just something interesting with regards to camera club talks, something you might be interested in if you're a member of a camera club, but I'll come on to that in a second. But there's a whole bunch of them, and they've made a purposeful journey to those woodlands purely based on my video, or a video of mine that they've seen that's been filmed from that very same location. Not really sure how to take that. Obviously I'm flattered, very flattered, but I know some people might get a bit upset with people like me sharing locations, although I didn't actually share that location. People obviously guessed where I was and just figured it out for themselves. Having said that though, Alex has just brought me to an incredible location, and this is a place he said that not many people do know about. So what I'm going to do is, he's pointed out a certain area and I want to capture it, and then as a way of saying thank you to him, obviously I won't divulge where I am, and as a way of saying thank you to him, I'll encourage you guys to go check his work out, because he's been showing me his Flickr account and everything, and he's a woodland photographer amongst other things, but his woodland photography is pretty sweet. So do us a favour, I'll leave his socials down below. Just go and give him a little bit of love, go and check him out. Awesome, cool. Right, so completely different woods, and you have no idea how excited I am just looking around about being here, because this is somewhere new now. So I think I've bettered the pictures that I captured before, and now this is like a fresh challenge. Awesome. I'll show you guys around in a second. I just need a quick slurp of coffee. Time check. It's nearly 10 o'clock. I was here at 7:30 this morning. It's nearly 10 o'clock. Time just flies. Time flies by. You know when you're having a wonderful time. Ooh, that's not too shoddy. Look at that. Under these conditions, that is off the scale awesome. Now I'll probably take a portrait orientation of this as well, but just as it is and where it is, do you know what, while I'm talking to you I could feel the light coming out. That's too much to ask, isn't it? Too much to ask. Rays of light breaking through the canopy. Oh, now then, who knows? Right, back to this picture. I shall take a portrait orientation, but in landscape, that's wonderful anyway. That is just off the scale, fantastic. Now, I'm not sure about the green ferns there. To be honest, what I like are these muted colours, the muted browns and the muted greens. And if anything, the green ferns on the right-hand side in this orientation, I think won't work as well. I think I might have to remove that in post-production, but that looks off the scale awesome. I have to grab that shot before these conditions change. I've got this shot here every which way but loose. This is just off the scale. So now trying to think Could I possibly make it any better? Well, the only way I could make it better, like I said earlier, is either introduce something in the foreground like these ferns on the floor, maybe change the composition height, so get my camera down nice and low. But to be honest, I think, you know, as it is wonderful. Another thing is, I could move my camera left and right and make it appear different to the trees in the background, if that makes sense. At the moment, I'm shooting straight down here and I could see 3 trees, with the best one being right in the middle, and I think it's going to be hard to top that. I did see Alex go over to the right, so I might be a bit sneaky and see what he captured, because he was very excited when he was over there. But Alex actually came back as well and showed me another picture that was off the scale, but I'm not going to pinch that one as well, because I want to come down here and just venture and go looking myself. I don't just want to copy other people's work. But I'll ask Alex to send me that picture that he's just shown me that he captured from a minute's walk away from here, and I'll include it on this video. But I'll only do that on the proviso that A, you don't think his work is better than mine, and B, is that you go and check his work out on his socials, because he keeps showing me all these really incredible pictures on his phone and he's cheesing me off, if I'm honest. Oh man, that's difficult, pulling myself away from there. Now, I've got my eye on a similar tree, but it's a lot smaller. And all I'm trying to do now is move myself around to try and figure out how I could best shoot this and isolate this from the background. Because I really, really like, there's just a single branch jutting out from the left-hand side of this lovely sort of green tree. It's a tree, not a green tree obviously, but it's a tree that's got all green moss on it. And the light's just kicking off the right-hand side of it, and it looks delightful. And again, just speaking to Alex there, and the beauty of coming into the woods when it's like this is you've just got that separation. So even though there's lots of clutter in the background, this shot that I'm about to take, I'm hoping it works, but definitely wouldn't work if the lighting and the conditions weren't as good as this. Let me throw you guys in camera so you guys can have a look what on earth I'm talking about. Right, let's hopefully show you what I mean. There, that's the branch I'm talking about there. And that's wonderful. I really, really like that. Now what I'm going to do is probably zoom in and grab a shot like that. There. Now compositionally wise, that just works for me so well. In terms of rules of thirds, got the branch on the right hand side, or sorry, the tree trunk on the right hand side with the branch just leaning into the left hand part of the frame, which I think is wonderful. Now if you look at this picture here, this wouldn't work if it wasn't for these conditions. This is why mist in the woods just changes everything, because now I've got separation between this single branch that I want to photograph and the background. I might still shoot this with a shallow depth of field just to exaggerate it a bit more, but I think that there looks pretty cool. Looks really, really nice. Again, this definitely isn't an award winner, but a nice picture it certainly is. 5.6 ISO 100 13th of a second. Oh, what's next? I've got a single big tree that looks very characterful, all lovely and green, and the roots are all moss covered as well. I think it's really cool. So all I'm going to do now is move back a bit and frame this one tree up with basically nothing else in the background, obviously except the other trees in the mist. But the only thing that's going to pop in this frame is this one single tree, and I've got to tell you, that looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. So while the conditions are like this, I've changed lenses. I want to shoot a couple of wide angle shots because I think the tree that I've been photographing with the brown leaves on and this green big thick tree here would work so nice as well with a wide angle shot, because they're pretty much the only thing in the frame that stand out. So I'm going to grab a couple of shots wide, and that's something I rarely do in the woodland. What I love doing as well in the woodland, what a lot of people don't do, now that I've put my wider lens on, I want to grab this one tree again. I'm fixated by this blasted tree that Alex showed me and I can't pull myself away, but I'm going to grab a wider shot now. But what I'm going to do, I want a really tight letterbox, maybe 16 by 9, but maybe even wider. Let me show you in camera what I mean. So the composition is going to be something like that. There's a lot of vastness, a lot of negative space, with just the tree, the point of interest on the third on the left hand side, which I love. But watch what happens now when I'm going to bring bars in top and bottom to show you what this picture will look like when it's a really wide panoramic shot, because I love doing shots like that, especially in environments like this. And if you look at that now, yeah, it's just a bit of food for thought. I mean, when you get a location like this, clearly it's going to work in portrait, landscape orientation, a nice tight crop, probably even, dare I say it, a square crop as well. But what a lot of people will tend to forget about is these wide vista shots in the woodlands. Yeah, so just something to think about. That's really cool. That is so cool. Wow, what a morning. All I could say is WOW, wow, what a morning. Fingers crossed I've got some nice pictures, especially under these conditions. How can I not? Well, that's my thought process, or that's my hope. Anyway, so lucky to bump into Alex. Alex, thank you so much indeed for showing me, especially that second location. I hate self-promoting, but I love Camera Club talks. Throughout 2025, I want to do as many Camera Club talks as I can, up and down the country, wherever you live, including Ireland or the Channel Islands. If you want to book me, I only charge £195 for a talk, and that's the price I will charge you no matter where you live in the UK. No matter where you live. I won't charge for traveling. I'll just incorporate a Camera Club talk with vlogging. That's how I will justify that price. And if I say so myself, I don't think I'm that bad a speaker. Right, sorry, that sounded so pretentious. Right, fingers crossed you've enjoyed this video. If you have, as always, do me a favour, help support the channel. Give that like button a bit of a nudge. If you're new here and you want to find your way back, then help support the channel further by subscribing as well. Check out one or two of my videos in my back catalogue. You never know, you might even like one or two of them. Especially at the end, I'll leave a link to the first video that I did down here. Until the next time, guys, thank you so much indeed for watching. Cheers.